All right.
Wow.
Ready to do this?
Yeah, man.
Good. All right. We're going 3, 2, 1. And a beautiful 4th of July to everybody, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us on Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. Today we have a lovely guest with us, Mr. Bevon Joseph. He's going to touch on something much more than just the pathway to an entrepreneur, but what I would like to call the positive pathway to an entrepreneur. So, to all of y'all who are joining us, wherever you are, um, a beautiful good afternoon to everybody. We would like to say a special thanks to Republic Bank, as always, for allowing us to have this beautiful platform. Today is gonna be magnificent. With what you're gonna see brought to the table here from Mr. Joseph, it's to me alone, and we've only just met each other, really inspirational. And this is what exactly we want to promote in this show: how to create through a positive, how to do whatever you want to do, no matter how hard it is, with a positive approach. So, as we get ready to start, I hand you over to Don for the big introduction of Mr. Joseph.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. Welcome to Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. We are again indeed pleased to have all of you on with us. I know the numbers fluctuate from time to time, but let me tell you, this evening, we are indeed blessed to have a young man. And I say a young man, anybody younger than me is a young man, you know? So I indeed blessed to have a young man out in the US. He's going to tell us a little bit of his story, you know, because people think that we arrive, you know, and nobody has just arrived. And in this time, even as I use the word arrive, many of us, some of us have just been trying to survive. But let me tell you, you can survive, but there's a time that you can also thrive. So this young man has not only been surviving in the US for a number of years, this young man has been actually making a difference and helping others thrive as well. And Andrew, to me, that's when we really thrive, when we help other people thrive. So I say Trinidad and Tobago, and I say the world at large, it's a joy to have Bevon Joseph here with us on Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. Bevon, welcome. I said Bevos because there's so many us's in the title. You know, I had the us and the entrepreneur and us and the US and the us and the, you know, but we're so glad that you're here with us. Okay? Welcome again, Bevon. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Andrew and Don. You know, Don, you and I connected a couple of weeks ago, and it was an instant connection. Been listening to joined some of the shows over the last couple of weeks, and so overwhelmed with the positivity that comes out of it. But I'm honored to be here. So I was born in Trinidad. I'm 42 years old. Grew up in Diego Martin, and went to Diego Sec. A bunch of my former classmates are here today supporting me as always. You know, we stick together. But yeah, migrated to the US, you know, after leaving Diego Sec at probably 18, 19 years old. Been in the US for about 20, 25 years. And my story started on Wall Street in Manhattan, you know, got a job at Chase Bank on the trading floor. Didn't know what was going on. I was a, 19-year-old kid in Manhattan, and found myself, fixing computers on a trading floor. Didn't know what the stock market was, didn't know what Wall Street meant, didn't know anything, but I was fascinated by what was going on around me. And I just decided to absorb all the knowledge that I could, meet as many people as I could, network, and just meet people. And I've never had a career outside of Wall Street, for 20 years until now. So my story, well, I was in New York for about 20 years. I live in Chicago now. I've been here for about 9 years. But, I always was searching for a way to give back. I grew up seeing my dad giving back always. He was a coach, he was a mentor, he was my teacher. He was always, he had his own business. He employed people in the community in Diego Martin. So, they say kids are a product of the environment. So that's all I saw. I just saw him helping people. And it was in me somewhere that's like, I have to find a way to give back. And in 2016, decided to start an organization called the Greenwood Project. And the mission here is really simple. It's to find students who lack the access and the opportunity to gain careers in financial services and technology. And again, it came out of my own story because after 20 years of working on Wall Street, I would often look around the office where I worked of these companies, and I didn't see many people look like me. And I kept wondering, like, why? Where is everybody else? Like, why is this industry not diverse? Like, where is everybody else, and why can't they have the same access? And I quickly realized that you had to be connected to the right people, right? So sometimes you need people to open the door for you. You know, it's not always, you can go to school and do well in school, but if you're not in that circle, if you're not surrounded, if you don't have that social capital, is what we call it, the network, right, to gain access to the opportunity. So what I did, I went out and started finding these young people who were really smart. They just needed a little coaching, hand holding. And I started introducing them, started with 5 students in 2016. This past year we had 60, and this year we'll have 150. You know, and again, quickly just kind of tripled in size every year. More and more companies came on board. In February we rang the opening bell of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. We've been going to New York on a Wall Street tour. I mean, there's an unlimited supply of talent. What there is a lack of opportunity. So my job, as I see it now, and my passion, my purpose, which I think I found that, you know, like 5 years ago, my true passion and purpose is to help young people be successful, change their lives in a positive way, and pretty much do as much good as I can to open doors for people, because you know, I didn't have that, but I realized the work that it takes and the effort it takes sometimes to have a mentor and to just have somebody say, hey, let me hold your hand and show you how to do this, so you don't make the same mistakes that I make. So that's kind of the overview of my story of what I've been up to for the last 20 plus years in the US. And, you know, we can dig into a little bit more later on, of course.
Yeah, I would actually, you know, you have a very powerful video. Do you mind bringing it in now? Is that okay now?
Yeah, definitely. Let me share my screen
That
here.
video really and truly is such a positive moment that needs to be brought to the show immediately, because what you're doing over there, that video alone has a special connection to your purpose and passion. So I'd love to show the audience that one. Go for it.
Yes. All right. There you go. You know, for me, I can't go back to regular 9 to 5 after doing this full time for the last 3 or 4 years. You get addicted to seeing young people's lives change in a positive way. The Greenwood Project was founded in 2016 by my wife and myself. What we do is we find the young people in the communities in Chicago, in the south and west sides, who are disconnected from financial services. They don't have the network to be able to access the opportunities in finance. Then we connect with firms who have those opportunities, but they can't reach the young people. We step in the middle, we broker that relationship, and we introduce them to each other.
You don't see a lot of people that look like me, like in financial services.
It's really hard for a student to get from here, a student who lives in a poor community in the United States, to the opportunity at an investment bank. It's really hard to get from here to here. Problem number one, you might not even know who this bank is, or this. You've never heard of UBS, Goldman Sachs, William Blair. You've never heard of them. Right? That doesn't exist in your world. And it is a case of two different worlds, actually. Nobody's really addressed the problem of getting that kid from here to here. That's what Greenwood is focused on. All that student needs is an opportunity. All he needs is a chance.
People who look like me being successful in these companies, it pretty much told me like, you can be there one day.
The students that we meet tell us like, hey, nobody's ever come to my community before to talk about a hedge fund. Like, what is that? But here's Greenwood Project in Inglewood on the west side, on Roseland, with professionals from downtown Chicago. You know, because it really makes a difference when students see people who look like them doing this stuff.
I grew up with a single mom. I think one thing that drives me is, you know, just trying to make her proud.
Greenwood Project students are hungry. We want it. Like, we want to be here. We want to be in the world. Bevon is like a dad, so he's like the hardest on us. Everybody will be like, 10, 10. Everybody gets 10. He's like, I would give you a solid 7.5.
So we're really hard on them. They could tell you that, but that's for a reason. We understand that what we do at Greenwood is not for every student. They're interested in what we're doing. They're coachable. They're open-minded.
One of the biggest lessons that I learned from the Greenwood Project is that there's room for everybody. No matter the color of your skin, your socioeconomics, where you come from, you not having parents, you having parents, it doesn't matter. What it really comes down to is hard work. If you're willing to work hard, you can do anything in this world.
What we found is there's unlimited supply of talent. What there is a lack of opportunity. We have the talent, we're grooming them, we're getting them ready. We just need first to come on board and open their doors. It's gonna change the entire trajectory of their life and their family, their community.
It's very easy for a firm to say we believe in XYZ. It requires more to actually see the action. That is primarily the reason that William Blair got engaged. As Greenwood and the Greenwood scholars interacted with the different lines of business, employee feedback was like, this absolutely makes sense, right? This is something we should be supporting. They are providing a pipeline of talent that we weren't going to reach before. It was something that just makes sense that William Blair should get involved in. It's a startup. So it needs help, it needs resources, it needs support.
You know, we're a 501c3 organization. Tax deductible donation definitely goes a long way because everything we do is at no cost to our students. And you have to understand that students who come from poor communities, they can't afford to have a non-paying work experience during the summer. A fact that really hit me hard, our students during the summer become, most of them, the highest income earner in their family. So we want to eliminate all the barriers to that young person having that internship.
You can't just have one type of person in a company and hope for success forever, because that's not how the world looks anymore. The world looks like me, you, and everybody. That's why you need to invest in Greenwood Project, because Greenwood Project is making it so that companies look like the world.
Amazing. Amazing. Honestly, that really and truly, that belongs not only on the show, but more and more in the world that we live in today. So humongous, congratulations again to you and your wife and the whole team that has been able to put this together. I want to ask a tricky question. You're taking individuals who may never have believed that they could sit in some of these chairs that you're taking them into, and you're putting them possibly in a very uncomfortable position. Am I going all right so far?
Yeah.
How do you manage that big uncomfortable position that you're putting them in, that they may not feel sometimes that, it's such a humongous step sometimes from where they're coming from to where you are visioning that they can go?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said in the video, it is two different worlds, right? And the secret sauce for us has always been the fact that my wife and myself spent 20 years in this business. So we know that what we do is not for every student. We identify the ones who are coachable, open-minded, and interested in what we're doing, and we can mold them and train them, and prepare them for that world. And, they're walking into companies that are predominantly white and male in Wall Street. So that alone is a big shock for them, right? But we work with the companies too. We only partner with companies who believe in our mission, right? And understand that they have to provide support once they get in the door. So there's a lot of talk about diversity in the world, right? But we believe in diversity and inclusion. So you can be diverse, but you also have to feel included once you get inside and feel welcome, right? And at home. So we work with the students and the firms as well, yeah.
I'm listening to you, Bevon, and a picture tells 1,000 words. And I'm looking at the smiles of the youngsters, and I can see they're indeed really happy to be a part of this initiative. And I think they whilst you are doing your part, I listened to you attentively just now, and you said there were 3 qualities they have to demonstrate, because there are people like you who will create opportunities for others, but they have to be teachable, they have to have a coachable spirit, they have to have the right attitude. And based on what you do, is the same way around the world. Once we have the right attitude, there are opportunities. I mean, this time of crisis is a time of opportunity. Yeah. And Bevon, I know, I don't want to jump to it too quickly, but you've just been given, and if I say it now, somebody will ask you, say wow one time, but you've just been given, your Greenwood has just been given $1 million US. Am I mistaken? I think you got 100,000, and then you have to administrate right. $1 million US. Could you tell us about that? Because that's a lot of money.
It is, and you're right. Out of chaos and crisis comes opportunities. So we could have easily, when COVID-19 hit, we could have just say, all right, let's just close up shop and wait for things to calm down. Instead, we took our entire program virtual, online, and instead of enrolling 100 students this summer, we're going to enroll 250. From all over the country, even have students in Trinidad participating on our online stuff now, and Tanzania and Kenya as well. So so what happened with the so I don't know if people might be familiar with Mr. Marcus Lemonis, the prophet on CNBC. So he's kind of a shark from Shark Tank, one of those guys. So he has a show. He goes around the country and invests and saves small businesses and gets them up and running. So he made an offer to the city of Chicago after he saw recent events with Black Lives Matter and the riots and stuff like that. He says he wants to invest $1 million in the city to reinvent and reimagine the city to help small Black businesses get, grow and get better and that kind of thing. And he was on Twitter just posting that. And, this is the power of like a brand, right? So the way I treat Greenwood is not as a nonprofit or a company. I treat it as a brand.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we are online, heavy online presence, and we have a lot of followers on Twitter. And people who follow Greenwood on Twitter saw his message, this offer to the city, and they say, hey, you need to check out Greenwood, check out Greenwood. And he kept getting bombarded with people. And I didn't know what was going on. My phone was blowing up one night. I was like, what is going on Twitter with Greenwood? And realized I tweeted at him. He followed me back. He invited me to a Zoom meeting the next night. And we show up on the Zoom call with 150 people. And he calls on me first. And he's like, hey, tell me about Greenwood. Tell me what you guys are doing. Tell me about your plans for the future. Tell me about your financials, So we talked about the loss that we took with our COVID-19 and had to cancel our big fundraiser, which was $100,000 loss for us. And right away, he was like, I'll cover that. And then I want you to be my point person in Chicago to deploy the rest of the $1 million. So, I was a little speechless for the first time in my life. And again, never thought I would get to speak to this guy even on a Zoom meeting, but he calls on me. But apparently he did his homework on Greenwood as well and on myself. And we connected afterwards. And that's how that came about. The Newsday in Trinidad did a little story about it recently as well too. But yeah, he wants Greenwood to be his point organization in Chicago to help deploy this $1 million. And he's also giving us $100,000 directly as well.
God bless you, man. God bless you. God bless you.
Wow.
So let's go a unique direction here where you've had an amazing breakthrough here, humongous success. You're born in Trinidad and Tobago. You moved to the US. We have a predominantly or a mainly Trinidad and Tobago audience here on this show. And sometimes even me, I compete against the world. I come from this small island, and in the Olympics next year, I'll be the only Caribbean athlete in the entire sport of sailing that has qualified. Wow. It's sometimes coming from such a small island where you have least or less resources. It's kind of, sometimes it can be very, scary, but also can be very motivating because you really don't have anything to lose, whereas some of the other ones have such a big support system, more to lose. How do you encourage people that regardless of where they come from, or no matter how small your island or what neighborhood you come from, how do you manage to inspire them that they can reach the stock exchange or wherever you do inspire them to reach? What is your message?
I say it comes down to, for me personally, self-belief, right? So like your belief has to be so strong that people have no choice but to come along with you. Like you believe so strongly in your mission, your purpose, your business, your idea. When you sit in a room with people and you explain that to them and you pitch it to them or whatever, it's like, wow, that guy, yeah, all right, we got to do this. I don't know who he is, where he came from, but he just convinced me that I need to take a chance on him. So the more you believe in yourself, the more you believe in your idea, people, it's going to be so strong that people have no choice but to come along with you. And that's why we stress preparation with our students. And that's why they're in a classroom with us for about 3 weeks before they start working in the internships and stuff like that. And that's all about preparation. Because I tell them opportunity doesn't go away, it just goes to the next person. So when it shows up, you got to be ready and you got to be ready to go. So that's why we stress preparation so strongly. And again, I think it really comes down to belief, believing in your idea and yourself. And people have no choice but to come along at that point.
Wow. The Bevon is Andrew just one, he's saying that, and Andrew, people are already messaging us and asking, how do we get involved? And when you have a proposal, as Andrew would know, because he has to do proposals at times to companies and so, you have to be able in a couple minutes, just as you have convinced us, we want to invest in you, and the people are asking, how do we get involved so quickly? I mean, your idea is so clear. I mean, Greenwood is doing fantastic stuff and deservedly so getting all the support. How do people get involved? Andrew, not to cut you at all, but some people want that answered immediately. Bevon Joseph, how do people get involved in Greenwood from Trinidad?
So go to greenwoodproject.org on our website. You could send us some requests to be involved. We built out a Greenwood Online Academy for Learning. It's an online platform on Google Classroom. And we have a bunch of classes that are free to any student from any part of the world, and they actually get Amazon gift cards when they finish a course, and prizes, AirPods. Again, we have students in Trinidad right now enrolled, students in Kenya and other countries are interested. So again, the COVID-19 and the pandemic situation in the US, all the unrest, that's a multiple crises that are going on there, but we found the opportunity in the midst of all that, and we are thriving and doing well and reaching more students. So, I always tell a lot of fellow nonprofit leaders, because a lot of people will show up at this time with their hand out, right? They want to raise money, they're asking for donations. I come with solutions. I say, this is what we're doing, and I just tell them, this is my story, this is what we're doing, this is how we're addressing this problem right now. And they come along and they say, all right, we want to support you. How can we help? How can we help? So I say, bring solutions to the table and to the conversation, and the rest will just happen. Money will come if the people see that your belief and your idea is strong. They'll jump on board 100%. Yeah.
And so some people, reach out to me and say, Andrew, like I would love to be an Olympian one day, but there's no way I could manage that. That dream is just way too big, way too far, way too expensive. And I think this goes for everyone. Some of your biggest dreams seem so big and so far that it's demotivating. It's see, some people even come and tell me, Andrew, like you're an Olympian. I don't even feel like I can approach you. And I say to them, well, I will never say that again. And anytime you ever hear anybody say that about Andrew Lewis, you tell them that anybody and everybody can approach me. I am human just like all of you. So feel free to come and talk to me whenever you want. And that kind of relationship I've started with everyone has really made people feel like, okay, well, I could talk to an Olympian, so maybe I can actually be an Olympian. Let's go now to the Wall Street, to the banking industry, to something that maybe even in your when you moved to the US, maybe you even saw that as possibly impossible to reach to certain levels, but somehow you're able to stick through it and stay there and reach where you've reached. And I would imagine you even have dreams to continue climbing to certain different levels. But how do you really take someone who sees a dream so big, so far, so expensive, so almost impossible to achieve, and give them that little, to make bread, you have to have a little flour here, and then you have to add a little bit, you have to let the dough rise, and then you have to do this, add this ingredient, then you can put it in the oven at a special temperature. There's a process to making bread. There's a process to being an Olympian. There's a process to get on the stock exchange. What is your process to giving these people small amounts of ingredients to grow?
Well, you talked about dreams, right? So, they say, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough, right? So I always tell people, think big and dream big, because I'm just a little guy from Trinidad, right? From Diego Martin, and this is what I'm doing. And 5 years ago, I said to my students, I said, I'm going to ring the opening bell of the NASDAQ stock exchange one day. I said that 5 years ago. And saying one thing is one thing, but going about and executing is a different, right? So this my personal saying that I have is, I said, passion is my fuel, but execution is what gets me mileage. So everybody.
Could you say that again? Bevon, could you say that again, please?
I said, passion is my fuel, but execution gets me mileage, right? So a lot of people are passionate about a lot of things, but they don't follow through. Right? So being an entrepreneur, starting a business, being an Olympian is not for everybody, because you can jump in and quickly realize you can't do this, right? So we were talking before the show started about, there's no days off, right? There's no days off. Like, it's a holiday right now. I still got students coming to my door to pick up like polo shirts for our program that starts on Monday. We have 40 high school students starting our program on Monday. And I got to make sure that goes smoothly, all virtual for the first time ever. So you realize really quickly what you're made of and if you're made for this stuff. And, there's a lot of things that I've learned along the way. I'm still learning right now on the job. I've never been in a nonprofit business before. So every day is a learning opportunity for me. So some of the things I stress to like people who ask me those questions is like, surround yourself with people who've done this before. The very first thing I did was make a call to a person that had a family foundation that I knew. I said, listen, this is my idea. You do this for a living. Tell me if this makes sense. And he's like, this absolutely makes sense. And I want to help you. And he was my first investor. I didn't ask him for money. I just said, can I tell you what my idea is? And you can tell me if it makes sense or not. And he says, I've been looking for a diversity type initiative to get involved with for years. And I know you personally for 10 years. and I trust the idea, and I'm going to help you. And he started opening doors for me, to Goldman Sachs and Citibank and JP Morgan Chase and the exchanges, and I was being invited to sit down in a room with CEOs and managing directors of these big Wall Street firms. And Andrew, like you said, I was scared, man. I was like, how did I end up here? Like, how does this happen so fast? And I will tell you guys something, like, as a Trini, I've been here for 25 plus years. I still sound like I just got off the boat yesterday. Like, I can't shake my accent if I tried. And for a long time, my accent held me back for a long, long time, because I was ashamed, like almost ashamed. So people make fun of me, like they wouldn't understand what I was saying. But you know what Greenwood did for me is it gave me like a confidence that I just couldn't find otherwise. Like I was terrified of public speaking before because of my accent. And now you can't shut me up. I'll go anywhere and talk to a million people or one person. I don't care. But Greenwood did that for me because I found my passion. I found my purpose. And don't ask me to talk about anything else. But this I could talk about all day long, and I don't care who's in the room. And it just gives you that confidence when I walk into the same rooms with those same people now. I know that they can't do what I'm doing right now. They cannot replicate what I do, because as an entrepreneur, only you can do what you do the way you do it. People will try to copy you and stuff, but they can't do it the same way you do it. Again, it comes down to execution, is what I think.
Walking the talk.
Walking the talk. And Andrew, I'm hearing your passion. And Bevon, you're speaking, and already there's a gentleman on David, and he's typing he needs to raise 50 million TT for UWI. As part of, I think he's part of the alumni.
Yeah.
And Bevon already coming out of this, and I'm going to be sharing your contact with David, for example, because already I could see you being an inspiration. Bevon, I have to confess, someone messaged me and said to me, there's a Trini guy doing amazing things. Okay, amazing things in America. You all need to have him on. Then Andrew, on the same day, says to me, Don, somebody contacted me and talks about a Trini guy doing amazing things. And I said, no, Andrew, I have the guy who is doing amazing things. Andrew said, no, Don, I have the guy. I said, okay, both of us bring the guy forward to realize it's one person we're talking about. So I think that is amazing what you are doing. And I'm really hearing your passion. I'm really hearing the belief. And that belief really, Don will tell you quickly, be and life is belief. Because you have to be, like Bevon, you have to be, when life is there, and you have that life is very, very important. So Bevon, you, B-E-V-O-N, Bevon is to be, to help others have the victory in others to go on. So Bevon, you're doing it. You're doing that in a fantastic way, and you're inspiration to us, and I'm sure those who are looking on. Imagine 19 years old, leaving Trinidad and Tobago. No gold spoon in your mouth.
None.
Leaving Trinidad and Tobago. But you having a belief that one day I'm going to be somebody. And what to me is the most powerful part of your story is not about Bevon Joseph. Bevon Joseph, wherever he is making a way for other people. And that to me stands out. I know we're going to talk in a while about if you could give us some steps as to how to become an entrepreneur. So for those who are listening, you want to get pen and paper, Bevon is going to give us a little 7 steps of how to become an entrepreneur. But Andrew, you may have a question or two, Andrew, before he does that.
I want to just dig into what you said, Don, a little bit more. In some way inside Bevon, he has a story, he had a vision, he had a belief system. And what you said, Don, is that, you got to somehow get people to believe in you. As they say in life, your first sale in any product as a salesman is to yourself. If you can't believe in yourself, which is sometimes very hard, you just need to believe in yourself a little bit. You got to take that of belief. If you're making bread, it's just the flour. You'll find the yeast, you'll find the pan, you'll find the oven, you'll find everything else after that. You just have that little piece of belief. Now you take that piece of belief and you find somebody who will add a little bit more to it, and a little bit more. Because I heard you say something, I'm not sure if it's before we started the show or after, but how you're able, Bevon, to sometimes actually have to hold people's hand and take them with you. That sometimes people are very scared of that, because it feels like you're pulling me in that direction. No, you have come to me and you've told me your story. Now I put up my hand and said, let's go together. I'm here to hold your hand. Let's go together. And as fearful it is, as scary as it is, sometimes same way, you know, as Don said, I go sailing with sharks. This is what I
Yeah.
do. You know,
Right.
the ocean is there, and that's my playground. You got to take that belief with yourself somehow, and this is what the whole Greenwood community is doing over there, and now around the world, just taking that oomph. And as we go into the steps of I would like to I've always heard people say that, you know, coming from Trinidad and Tobago, it's hard to make it, or because Trinidad and Tobago is always a couple of steps behind the world in different things. And in some cases, yes, but it doesn't mean that the process is still happening with the evolution of Trinidad and Tobago is growing and growing, and in many cases getting to be a better place and a more positive place. And I know that that's your roots, and I know you're going to try to have that impact and bring that home, because I have that
Yeah.
feeling inside that, you know, home is always that place that you want to share that love. As we go into the steps of what it takes to become an entrepreneur, I just want to encourage everybody, no matter how old or how young you are, it's just about believing in yourself. And when you can't find that full belief in yourself, find someone else who can help you, because there is people out there. And never take that belief away from anybody. Somebody wants to be whatever they want to be, help them with that belief system, because that's all they need, that oomph to just go further again. You take that away from them, their dreams could be crushed.
Yeah, definitely, Andrew. 100% agree with you. I meet young people every day, doing this work, and nobody's ever said to them, "I'm gonna put you on a plane and take you to New York for a week to visit two companies a day on Wall Street." Because we do that every year. We take 14 college students. Most of them have never been on a plane before, never left their block, never left the city, and we give them, like luggage, stuff to wear. We pay for everything. Every single thing is all paid for, and we're putting them in a different environment to experience something else, to meet CEOs and presidents of these big companies, and go on TV and do interviews and that kind of thing. And they said nobody's ever like held my hand like that and said, let me show you something else. And once you do that to people, I mean, you change their entire life. All the students who go to New York with us every year for that Wall Street tour, they come back a different person. Their parents call me up and tell me, I don't know what you guys did this summer, but my son or my daughter is talking about the stock market and starting generational wealth and getting investments and going to New York to live. And now we have students who've gone to New York and now are living and working for investment banks and exchanges and stuff in New York, and they never saw that coming. And Greenwood was the catalyst for that. And that's the way I kind of view what I do, is a catalyst. I'm here to help open those doors, get them ready so they can go into the other side and be successful. And sometimes, a lot of people are self-motivated. Some others need motivation, right? But I think if you identify those folks who have the potential, and I said coachable, open-minded, interested, we can mold them, we can make them a success. And that's my motivation, is actually seeing the impact of what I do in real time. Like, you can't get that at a 9-to-5 job anyway, working for a big firm. You cannot get that because, I work for myself, but I work for all these students, about 350 students now we've worked with since 2016. And that number is just going to get bigger, and in more cities and in more countries. And like, you're right, Andrew, bringing it home. Like, I need to bring this home. I felt that from day one. And just like I said, I was going to ring the open bell of the exchange, I'm going to bring it home. And I have no doubt about that. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to happen in Trinidad. There's going to be a Greenwood version in Trinidad and Tobago, and we'll make that happen. And I think connecting with you guys and the people who might be watching this right now might have connections to help us make that happen.
Certainly, certainly. Oh, Bevon, I am excited already, because I mean, the only thing that ever changed the world is an idea.
Right.
And when you have an inspired idea like you've had, I think it really and truly speaks to the integrity. Leaders know the way, go the way, and show the way. And you're certainly a leader. You're certainly a leader. I mean, you're an inspiration. That's what you are, really, an inspiration. And Greenwood in Trinidad is going to be big. Greenwood in Trinidad, I'm telling you one time, I'm just listening to you, and I have some people that I might be able to share the idea to. Right. Greenwood in Trinidad is going to be a really big, big project, and we just want to encourage you. But in this time, Bevon, there are people who had to get into to become an entrepreneur by force.
Yeah.
And you know, there are people like yourself. You spoke about going to somebody who has walked the way before. And Bevon, if you don't mind at all, and I know sometimes you have to pay for this information, but Bevon, if you don't mind, if you could share with us on Positive Moments with Andrew and Don, what is it like to be an entrepreneur? What does it take? And I know belief had to be there somewhere.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
what does it take? What does it take to be an entrepreneur?
So in preparation for this, I just was thinking back on my last 5-6 years doing this and the lessons I learned. I came up with like a 7-step process. And for me, step 1 is always believing in your idea, right? And like I was saying earlier, like the term belief is like defined as, you know, something that exists or is true, especially without any proof. So what we did with Greenwood is we had no baseline for what we were doing, because nobody's ever done this way before, right? So there was no really template for me to follow, you know, any format. Like there was similar type organizations, but nobody was doing it this way. So I had to really believe in this idea, and I had to go sell it, right? I had to go convince people, like companies, to take a chance on us, to hire our young people, you know, to make a donation, you know, that kind of thing. So I think, again, starting with belief, you know, believing in the idea. So it's because when you sometimes all you have is a pitch, all you have is a proposal. You don't have no money in the bank, you don't have no connections, but you end up in the same room with Andrew Lewis one day in an elevator, and you gotta give him the elevator pitch, right? Because you know he's connected to some brands. So hey, man, this guy could be could be my ticket. So always be ready with your elevator pitch, your business 30 seconds. Like, this is what I do, this is who I am, this is why you should come along. So that's like step 1 for me. Step 2 is make sure you're solving a problem that needs to be solved, right? So whatever product you're making or whatever you're putting out, it has to be a current market demand for it. You have to be solving an actual problem. You know, we all wake up every day and see problems, right? It could be a little nagging, whatever, in the house, or, you know, driving down the street. It's like, why is this thing always here? Why is this always? That's a problem that needs to be solved, that nobody's figured out yet. So always make sure you're trying to find a solution to a problem that actually needs to be solved, because you might be trying to reinvent the wheel and somebody might be miles ahead of you, and you will just waste your time, money, and energy at the end of the day. And number 3 is like what I touched on before: get perspective from people who've done it before. And we tend to a lot of people run to their family, friends, you know, say, hey, I want to start this business to make this product. You know, 9 out of 10 times, those people will give you bad advice because they've never done it before, right? So go find a mentor or somebody who could help guide you, somebody who's done it before. I mean, Kobe Bryant wanted to be the best. So what did he do? He made best friends with Michael Jordan. You didn't want to be like Mike, you want to be better than him, right? So sometimes you got to surround yourself with people who've done it before, who will give you those little tips and those pointers and those nuggets of information and insights. Because at the end of the day, like me, I have a lot of people that I work with who I meet, and they say, hey, how did Greenwood get here? And I give it away. I don't charge anybody for advice. I'm happy to share my story, because I feel like there's no shortage of good to be done in the world. And if somebody could come to me and say, hey, I want to multiply Greenwood by 100, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know, this is what I did, and this is how I got here. So, and then number 4 is have a plan, right? So, Don, this is for you in particular. I know you like these kind of little scenarios. I want you to picture this, right? We have 2 boats, right?
Sure.
We have boat A has a captain, has a full crew, specific destination in place. They know where they're going, right? We have boat B, no captain, no crew. The tide just taking them wherever they want to go. What's the result, right? One person, one boat is going to end up in a specific place, and the other one is just going to drift, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, you must have a plan, and this is the tedious part of it, right? Because it's a business plan. It could be this thick, right? And a lot of people are like intimidated by that. But again, there are resources around. The internet is a wonderful thing. I use YouTube every day. Google is my best friend, you know, and I ping people and say, hey, can you help me write a business plan, or tell me if this looks good? But you got to put the time in, right? So a lot of people are scared by the time and the hours that you got to put in, because I usually work when my 5-year-old and my 10-month-old is asleep, and that's usually at 2-3 in the morning. You know, but that's what it takes, right? So you got to be able to put the time in, but have a plan, definitely, to get what you want to go. And you're going to be asked for the plan too by investors, of course. They're not going to give you a big check if they don't think you're going to do anything. You know, you're not going to be able to execute. And number 5 is something that I believe in really strongly. Find a way for your business to have a positive impact in the world, right? Whether that's a for-profit or a non-profit, find a way that you can give back to the community. You can employ young people, set up shop in an area that needs the business, that kind of thing. Be very intentional, be very specific, that you can have a positive impact with your dollars, because you could do good and do well at the same time as a business. There is money in doing good things, so have a social impact. With Greenwood, we specifically set out to have a positive impact, but there are for-profit companies that do that. They're like, we need to find a way to give back to the community that we serve, and on our customers as well too. And number 6 is like, stay committed, because we were talking about motivation before. Your commitment and your motivation is going to be tested. It's going to be like, blood, sweat, and tears, for a long time. Sometimes you'll be tested, because you might be successful. People will keep saying no to you. A lot of people said no to me, man. A lot of people said no. This is like, this is not going to work. Those same people are now partners of mine, right? So I don't burn any bridges. I welcome them back, especially given, it's like, sometimes you gotta sometimes you gotta take a couple of years to prove that your model works, right?
Yeah.
Just as a for-profit business, they want to see that you put the work in. There's a track record. You know what you're doing. You have success, and then we can scale that. So that's what Greenwood is now. Is like, we've been able to prove for the last 4 or 5 years that it works. So now we have no shortage of people who want to be involved. But staying committed, believing in yourself, because self-doubt is going to come into play a lot. It's like, should I be doing this? Like, to yourself. So be a lot of tears. I'm telling you, I know I've experienced it. But being surrounded by people who are positive around you, all the time, and encouraging you really goes a long way. So once you stay committed, because entrepreneurship could be a very lonely place, like very lonely, because if you don't wake up every day and do it, it's not going to get done. There's no HR department, there's no marketing, there's no social media team. You are everything. You're everything, so we're lucky now that we're growing our team, but for a long time it was just me and my wife, and running a whole operation that people thought we had a big team, so stay committed is number 6. And number 7 is what we touched on, is think big. And like I said, dream big, think big, dream big. The internet has made the world very small, so don't limit yourself to Diego Martin, Port of Spain, Trinidad, or the Caribbean, because your next sale could be on the other side of the planet while you're sleeping, right? So don't think about your market as being just that geographical area, or just your town or your country. Like, build it out with big dreams in mind. And again, the technology exists, people are doing it already, but at the end of the day, I think, like I said, all these things that I just talked about, it comes down to execution, because we can lay out all these 7-point, 10-point plans. If you don't get it done, I mean, it's kind of all for naught, and you spend a lot of time and money and energy and people's time too, right? So at the end of the day, you really got to be able to follow through on your passion, your purpose, and just execute. But at the end of the day, you must deliver, I think.
And to wow, where to even start? But the first thing I just this would be very inspired by Don, because Don has inspired me to look at words in a different way. And the word entrepreneur has the word enter in it. Am I correct, Don?
Yes, that's right.
Every morning, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you gotta enter into whatever it is you want to go. You gotta enter into whatever your business is. And I love the concept of, the elevator pitch. I will tell you all a fact. When I was building my personal brand, the vision behind it was huge. And every time I told someone my elevator pitch for my personal brand, I told them as big as it was going to be. I never told them where it was right now, or how it is right now, and all the failures going right now. I said, this is what this Olympian is going to do, and this is how he's going to do it. And everyone will always say, wow, this fella is, I don't like to talk about myself like this, but this is the kind of feedback I would get when people would respond to my elevator pitch. And I think it's so important to have that on the go 24/7. You never know, as you said, where's your first sale going to come from? It could be anywhere, in the most weirdest places. I've met some, and I love what you said, because one of my biggest sponsors first said to me, "Sorry, Andrew, but not right now." I said, "No problem, I'll be back." And I came back. And 7 years later, they're rolling on board with me. And that sponsors Republic Bank. And this is very important to realize, is that everybody has their vision and you have to align with their vision. Otherwise, you're not in line. It's like you bring a brand to align with another brand that doesn't align. Your brand must align. And what you're doing is really helping these people align with their brand. And when they have no faith, giving them faith. Because without faith, you're not going to be able to enter into the world of being entrepreneurs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think what is equally powerful as well, as you said, is that you're not waiting to make it, but there are opportunities around you to help others. Because some people say, I have to have $1 million, I have to be a millionaire first before I could think about giving.
No.
And if I listen well to what you said, is that you must start where you are and look for the opportunities. Look for the opportunities to be a blessing to somebody else. And let me just tell you, I know you mentioned your wife, that you're lucky, but I want to tell you much more than luck. You all are really blessed. And you know why it is you're blessed, you and your wife? Because you're doing it for other people. And it's not about, I'm listening to you, and nothing that you said there is about making $1 million. And in the time of COVID, millions of dollars are coming to you again to admit. And guess what? I think that's just the start. I really believe, Bevon, that's just the start. I think that guy, and he's connected too, he's going to say, look, you want to do something for inner city kids? Let's go to Bevon Joseph, because he's been trusted. He certainly has been prepared. Folks, if you're waiting to prepare for an opportunity, right? When only until you get the opportunity, it doesn't work. Be prepared for the opportunity all the time. The opportunities are there. Bevon was preparing a long time. He kept his head up high. And hey, I'm leaving. There's a bigger world than Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is not just my world. I'm going out there. And now look at that. Bevon is going to be back soon enough to make a difference for young people. I can imagine you giving the teacher address at Diego Martin Secondary School of saying, I left here 20, 25 years ago, and now I'm able to walk back and take one of you students with me, okay, to go and ring the bell at the NASDAQ. I'm not sure if it's called the NASDAQ bell, you know, at the stock exchange, I have to take a stock of that, but right? But you have to go and ring the bell. I mean, that certainly rings loud with me, and I'm sure with Andrew and a lot of people who are looking on.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think, you know, coming from Trinidad and always wanted to get back there to do something is always been on my agenda for a long, long time. You know, and as you said, it's all about giving back. You know, and I think if we don't give back, we really do a disservice to not just fellow citizens in Trinidad, but in the world. You know, I think the best way to kind of give back is to teach, I think. You know, so a lot of young people I feel like I have 350 kids now, because my phone doesn't stop ringing. I'm talking to them constantly. They always have questions and asking for advice, and I'm glad there's not enough hours in the day, but you know, again, it's like Andrew was saying with branding and with his belief. You know, I said 5 years ago when Greenwood started that we're going to be in every financial hub in the United States and then eventually across the world. And that's going to start happening in 2021. You know, COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter movement here has accelerated a lot of stuff with Greenwood, because we've been focused on addressing the core issues that have been affecting African Americans in the United States for a long time, which is poverty and access to opportunity. So when Andrew went back and did his work for all them years, right? Republic Bank was noticing, a lot of brands was watching. You never know who's watching. That's the thing about personal branding. You never know who's watching. And you know what? One thing I've realized is something called top of mind marketing, right? I post a lot of stuff on social media, a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. People notice. And when people want to intern or they're thinking about diversity, they think about Greenwood first. Wow. Right? This is my uniform. I wear it 24/7 everywhere I go. I want everybody to ask me, what is this? What is this thing about here? What is Greenwood from? You know? And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Greenwood name is from a town in Tulsa, Oklahoma the nickname was the Black Wall Street. And that's where the name came from. It was a town after slavery that Black people settled in, and it was 100% Black, self-sufficient, Black millionaires, private planes, banks, schools. They were forced to be 100% self-sufficient because white people would not do business with them. That was during the Jim Crow era. But the nickname was the Black Wall Street. So that's where the name Greenwood comes from. But we're in essence using young people to rebuild Black Wall Street, generational wealth. We turn every student in our program to investor. They get a $50 to start investing and a free share of stock. Right? We don't just give kids jobs. We actually want to create investors. They're the first in the family to become an investor as well. So we want our kids to be the first to do everything. That's why I said it's with branding and Trinidad. I'm 100% convinced. There's no doubt. Nobody could convince me that this is not going to happen in Trinidad. And again, Republic Bank or whoever it is, the stock exchange in Trinidad. And now we have access to a lot of individuals like Marcus Lemonis, Chris Gardner, whose life story was put into that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. He's a friend of mine. He's a supporter of the organization. These are guys who are willing to come to Trinidad and do like keynote addresses or whatever it is, because they see the mission, they see the impact that we're having, and they're on board. And like Andrew said, with branding, you have that pitch ready. People are noticing, and you always want to be top of mind when that topic comes up. And I always tell young people, when it comes to personal branding, the way I look at it is, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room? That's personal branding. What are people saying about Andrew and Don when they're not in the room?
And everybody thinks, sorry if I'm cutting you off, but everybody thinks, I need money to have a personal brand. I need money. I need to find investment, and I need this backing. And there's so many people who just think money, money, money. But to have a personal brand, first of all, is completely 100% free. Mm-hmm. It's how you dress when you leave home. It's how you talk to people. To help somebody, you don't need to actually give them money, first of all. You can help somebody by just saying hi, give them a smile and a hug. That could be a humongous help. That could actually save someone's lives in some case. You do not need money to have a personal brand. You do not need money to help somebody. When all these people come, when you come to Trinidad, when you come and you do the keynote speech at whatever school it is, and you leave there, you have given nothing but information, and information is priceless. What someone could then do there now is make their own money in their own avenues, and then go back and follow your story, which is creating income and then helping others, creating income, helping others. And that's how that's how the world should be based. Income, help, income, help, income, help. And I really want to encourage everybody that your personal brand is everything that is you. From the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, even while you're sleeping, your personal brand is you. Your name is where it all starts. And until you leave this beautiful planet Earth, your personal brand will be alive. And even when you leave, the legacy you leave behind, your personal brand could live on forever. Remember that.
Wow. And Andrew said, the name is where it's at. And when we're looking at the name Joseph, somewhere in Joseph, there's hope. Okay, so that you're actually living the name, but you're also living the brand. And Trinidad and Tobago needs people like yourself, okay, Bevon, to actually continue to go and make a difference for the world. The world isn't such a big place after all. I mean, Google has made the world a bit small, okay, but you actually, with the right heart, let me tell you, the right heart is what makes the difference. And Bevon Joseph, you certainly have the right heart. And that's something all of us are very proud. I think your mom is on as well. And I can imagine how proud that she is of you for what you're doing. And certainly all of us here in Trinidad and Tobago are proud of you. And some of us are going to take that proud into action now and actually want to partner with you to do some stuff for other people. So Bevon, we are entirely blessed, let me tell you. And everything happens in its timing. Bevon, everything happens in the right timing because we're trying to see who we will put what for. This is actually our second to last webinar, right? And Andrew, look how we go full circle. Our second webinar was the Andrew Lewis story, and that was the fall of the wall. And now the second to last is how we're going to use the wall on Wall Street to make some money for all. It just comes full circle. So the wall isn't such a bad thing, but let it be Wall Street. Let it be Wall Street. You know what I mean? Fantastic. We are blessed. Andrew, where is it?
We are blessed, and you said something real important there, and I'll probably say it everywhere if I can. Go at your own speed. Go at your own speed. go as fast as you can go, and that's your speed. I look at when you have, Bevon, look at when you have now find your genuine true purpose and what you really wanted to do all these years. It's happening right
Mm.
now. Don, how many years you been speaking? 7 years now?
Maybe not, was it 70?
You know what? But since you've started in full flight, how many
Yeah, but
years?
since I left the bank in 2008, it's about 12 years now.
12 years, only 12 years. Everybody goes at their own speed. You got to take your time and everyone be patient. As I said before, be inspired by others, of course. If you see something you like, no problem. That's okay. You can have it too, but get it in your own speed, in the right way. And just be ready because it will come. If you know it's for you, it will come, but be patient.
Yeah, Bevon, not to be repetitious in any way, but Bevon, we do have some young adults who are really taking in every word that you're saying. There's not a wasted word here this afternoon, and it never is on Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. But Bevon, I want you to take a minute, and I want you to speak to that youngster who says, somebody didn't believe in me. Somebody didn't believe in me, and I think Trinidad and Tobago, I'm stuck, and I don't know if I could ever make it. I don't know if I will get I might get a passport, but I might just go to Tobago. I mightn't go too far, you know? And you don't need a passport for Tobago anyway, you know what I mean? So they might just be stuck, think they're stuck where they are. I need you, Bevon, if you don't mind, just to take a minute or so and just speak to that youngster. Speak to Bevon, who was 19 years old. Speak to Bevon, who was 19 years old. You talk to that Bevon. Let me hear you.
I would say to that, Bevon, patience is the key. I think I was, at 19, frustrated. You don't know the world, you don't know much. I was just determined to make my way to the United States. I don't know how I was going to do it. My mom had family in Jersey. My dad had family in the Bronx. I just know my future was here, and I had to find a way to get here. So I feel like patience is number one, because it seems like it could be really frustrating not being able to get where you want to get one day in a quick way. A lot of young people, they want it right now, right? But again, also the thing is, surround yourself with people and seek out people who've done it before. You said hope, right? So hope is something that a lot of people don't see these days all over the world, not just in Trinidad. I mean, I pay really close attention to what's going on in Trinidad every day. My sister and everybody is still there. So, and that's another reason that's really motivating me to bring this to Trinidad, because I feel like, what we do represents hope. And I think, like Andrew was saying, you never know who's watching. And sometimes, what happens now when you end up in a position like Andrew, Don, or myself, you end up as the example, and you have to live up to a certain example, because there are people looking, there are students looking. There's that 19-year-old kid right now who's looking probably at this, or will see it on YouTube and say, wow, how do I reach that guy? I want to talk to that guy. I'm accessible. I'm just like Andrew said, we're human beings too, and I operate from a place of purpose and passion, and my goal is to help as many people as I can. I think the ultimate measure and my success, even after I'm long gone, is the number of lives I'm able to positively impact.
Wow.
Like, that's the way I look at it. That's what I'm here for. I think that's what I was put here for. And it took me, a long, I'm 42 now, but 5 years ago is when it connected for me. But I had to spend that 20 year on Wall Street, right? I had to go through that stuff. I couldn't come back to Trinidad for a long time. My first time back was after 15 years in New York. So I had to suffer all that time, almost not being home. But at the end of the day, look what's happening now, right? What is for you in your timing, and that's the way I see it. So patience is key. Reaching out, just reach out and ask for help sometimes. Don't be intimidated. Don't be like 20-year-old Bevon who was ashamed of his accent. Now people, when I walk into a room, I talk like I talk right now, and people are fascinated. Where are you from? Tell me your story. I have a friend from Trinidad. I know about Trinidad. So it makes the conversation go easier now. People are actually intrigued by what's different, right? So if you're different, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing at all. If you're different, that's a very good thing, because who wants to be vanilla, right? Who wants to be run of the mill? Who wants to be like everybody else? So I look at me being from Trinidad, my accent, my everything, as a huge asset that nobody else can replace. I'm one of maybe 7 billion people on the earth, and that's a unique thing. right? That's a huge advantage. There's nobody like you, right? What you bring to the table, nobody could bring that to the table. And that's starting a business, that's meeting people, that's introducing yourself to Andrew on the elevator, or meeting Don walking down the street and stopping him and say, hi, I saw the webinar, I want to talk to that guy, right? Don and I talked for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it was like talking to my best friend. I don't know how that happened, but it just felt it just felt like I knew this guy forever. And I got multiple introductions to Andrew, my nephew Gio. You guys are connected, and he was telling you about me, and then Maria, who's on here now, who I went to school with at Dego, was telling Donna about me. And I mean, it's amazing. The world is not a big place, man. It's not a big place, and always be nice to people. Always leave a good impression. Don't burn bridges at all, because like Andrew said, those brands come around, they come back, right? At the end of the day, what you bring to the table, you might be one person, and you're able to do things that whole brand or that whole bank can't do by themselves with all the resources and all the money in the world that they have. The last thing I'll say is about Greenwood is I talked to a company, Goldman Sachs, 5 years ago. First meeting I ever had when I was starting Greenwood. And the lady running the office in Chicago said to me, what makes you so different? Because we go to those same schools and we recruit those kids at those Black universities across America. What makes you so different? Why should we partner with you? I said, because don't believe that everybody knows who you are or everybody wants to work for you. I said, there are millions of kids out there who don't know who Goldman Sachs is, and they're the kids that I could reach. And that sealed the deal for us, because she was like, okay, well, all the money in the world that we have, we can't do that. We can't reach the students from the poor communities because they don't know who we are. Brand awareness is everything. You know, we partner with now about 55 companies and all the major exchanges in Chicago and New York. We're going to Kansas City, New York, and London next year, and hopefully Trinidad too. So, you know, my goal and my dream to put Greenwood in every major financial hub in the United States is happening right now. Right, and I'm executing my 2025 plan right now in 2020. See that coming, but it's here, you know.
Yeah,
that sounds like
Don,
that sounds like us too. This we didn't see this
yeah,
show
well,
at all. We didn't see the show.
well, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting, Andrew, because he's talking about don't burn your bridges, and both of us understand that fully. And Andrew, powerful moments with Andrew and Don has really been designed to be a bridge for this exact moment, for positive moments like this, for stories like Bevon. And we're sure there are many stories. But Bevon, your story is going to be recorded in history. I'm not just talking about the YouTube, but your story is going to be recorded. All right. And this is an inspiration to us because Andrew, he has covered without even trying to go ahead and do it. You have covered all the episodes. When we talk about preparation, execution, celebration, Bevon, that was one. We had building bridges, not walls. That was another one. So Bevon, you're actually covering, and God has ordained it, where you are summarizing the entire thing. Our next webinar, webinar number 16, which is next week, Saturday, following Saturday, that talks about the testimonies. And I'm sure that people are going to be testifying about Bevon Joseph offering hope, and that hope for Don Lafugard and for Andrew. Hope is helping other people every day. That's what you do. That's what we do. That's what Positive Moments with Andrew and Don is all about. We're here for hope, to be a voice of hope. We didn't see no COVID. We see opportunity.
Right.
We see opportunity, and we continue to see opportunity. And as you say, Bevon, you so rightly said, seek it out. There's an opportunity to be of help to somebody else and offer that sense of hope. So helping other people every day. This is Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. And Bevon, I'm going to be emailing you, David Lewis and others. I'm going to be emailing and making some hookups for you. Okay, so you can get Greenwood off in Trinidad and Tobago. I'd be proud of this national. Andrew, you get people to type stuff. Could you do how you do it? Could you tell them how you do it? Andrew does this. Come on. If you get value, type value.
Yeah.
Andrew, could you do it? Andrew, could you do it?
I'll bring it in for them. So this is actually, in theory, a perfect way. I could not agree with you anymore, Don, to have the second to last webinar. And if you really believe, if you really, really believe that your name is your personal brand. And your personal brand is everything that you do. Write personal brand it. If you believe that your name has a brand behind it and you want to show the world that brand, and you want to show your employees that brand, and you want to show your parents that brand, you want to show whoever you are around, write personal brand. Because personal branding is the future, of you, or the future of how people see you, or the future of what you want to attract. Everything is inside your personal brand. Even the things that are the biggest challenges to you are inside your personal brand. And to be honest, the smallest things too. If we can do the small things every single day, more and more we achieve the small things in life, the big things will come. You don't just fall out of the sky as an entrepreneur or as an Olympian or as a motivational speaker like Don. You get there by doing these small things every day to build your personal brand. So as we really, really went deep into entrepreneur, I think that we went so much bigger today thanks to Bevon. What we did here today was inspire others that no matter what, no matter if you come from an island with 1.23 or 1.35 million, however much Trinidad and Tobago has, you can end up on the Wall Street. You can end up at NASDAQ. You can end up in whatever country you are in the world. You can go to the moon if you want, in my opinion. You can go wherever you want. You just have to take these steps and believe it. Walk from your heart. Believe it from your heart. If your heart feels it, you can hold it in your hand one day. And if your heart feels it, you can be it. That's a fact. So as we really went deep in personal branding here today and into this amazing topic, I want to really encourage you all to make sure and bring whatever you all felt today, write it down from now, because we're going to be sharing them in 1 week from today. Bring these testimonies now. You all want more positive moments with Andrew and Don, but we need those testimonies to really allow us to create bigger platforms, to create more. And if you all want more positive moments in Andrew and Don, like we know you all want, because we all have said it, and we want to continue to, because that is part of our vision. We don't want to have 1 week from now and then goodbye. We want to not only walk the walk that we've been walking, we want to give you all and Trinidad and Tobago and the world, we want more stories like Bevon Joseph, more Don Lafourcade's, more of everybody you all have seen on this show, because there are so much more stories out there to be inspiration for others. And that is how we become successful human beings. Self-made, I say it again, does not exist. Bevon Joseph was put on this planet by two people, and so was Don Lafourcade. So self-made doesn't exist. We got to help one another. So as we get ready to wrap up here, and I will let Bevon use his closing thoughts, I just want to say to you all that take this opportunity and don't just end this webinar here today and go on to whatever you had next planned. Take this end this webinar here today and go to your pen and paper and write down what you really felt. Create that vision. You had an inspirational moment during this period of time, write it down. Put that emotion you connected with so specially, like especially if you wrote it in the chat, it means you connected in a special way. Take that moment, write it down, create that vision. That is what part of hope is. It's because you felt it in that moment. You could take that little inspiration and go and be whatever you want to be. No matter where you come from, no matter how old or young you are, it's inside of you if you felt it. Because that is what the heart is about. The heart will talk to you, and that is the Almighty sending a message. So talk that talk as you walk that walk. Don?
That's what we're talking about now. Well, Bevon, I want to say this when Andrew talked about personal brand, and when he started up that, personal brand, when he said, Don, Bevon, I am doing like you, D-O-N, I am going ahead and develop our nation. And I know we're not doing it alone. We have you, we have Andrew, okay? And that is what positive. We want to thank Republic Bank. Andrew, at first you didn't get through, but guess what? You really get through now. You get through. So we want to thank all of you folks who are here with us. Andrew, we have some people who will be journey with us, and they're going to be there next week, Saturday, July the 11th. We want you there with us, okay? And we want you to come. When somebody asks how to keep the programs going, come and testify. Come and testify on next Saturday. Come and tell us, what these programs meant to you, okay? And we're just going to continue to enjoy positive moments with Andrew and Don. All of these are on YouTube. So we do 16 for now, but you never know. Andrew, I could give them a little wink eye. You never know what could happen next. A little fella leave Diego Martin. Hey, no. A little fella leave Diego Martin. and lean up on Wall Street. All right? So that's all I'll tell you. You never know what can happen when you have that belief. And we have that belief. So Bevon, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to say one thing, Bevon. For what you have done, and I want to say something publicly here. I live in Diego Martin myself. People like yourself, you ever need a place to stay in Trinidad and Tobago, my doors are open to you. So we can continue to inspire together. You need a bed, you need a room, I have one for you whenever you're in Trinidad and Tobago. I know you have all the people already, but just in case, I gotta keep people like yourself close by, because you know these people that you keep around you, the people are gonna help you go where you are. So invite, and I say that not only to say invite you to my home anytime. I say that to tell everybody else, the people that you want to achieve success like are the people you want to invite into your life. That is the message behind what I've just done there, as well as inviting Bevon to my house anytime.
Well, Andrew, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Again, you and I meeting for the first time on a webinar, not even in person. But again, the connection, I could feel it again, just like when I met Don on the phone for the first time. But I appreciate that. I agree with you. Your circle is what really propels you to success and keeps you there. You know, so surround yourself with those people. And one message I have for everyone is sometimes we feel like we want to make a difference in the world, and we search and we search and we can't find, like, I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. This crime situation or this unemployment, I can't figure it out. Sometimes it starts with you, right? It starts with you. Look at yourself, because that's what I did. I looked at myself and say, who do I know that can help me achieve this and help these kids get in the door? And it was those relationships, those past relationships, those bridges that I didn't burn. Call my friend up who was a Trini at the New York Stock Exchange and say, hey, Ian, I need to come there and visit with some kids. No problem. You know, so again, keeping that connection open, you know, growing your network, meeting people and being nice to people, I think. But sometimes the change that you want to make really starts with yourself. I believe that 100%. And Andrew and Don, I know one day we'll be in person for sure, you know, once this thing blows over. But looking forward to it, man. This was amazing. You know, I came in positive. I left even more positive. So yeah, you guys are doing an amazing job. I want to actually come back and testify my testimony next week too.
Yes, man. More than welcome.
Definitely. Wow.
But thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Wow. Boy, this is amazing. Bevon, some creep, some crawl, some walk, some run. This has certainly been much more than fun. Bevon, you have helped us to see the light, and let me tell you, you're just like the eagle in full flight. You keep it up, bro. We really, and you get through. To stay by Andrew, you get through.
I know.
You get through. Trust me, you get through.
I don't know if I'm going on the boat yet, but you know, small steps.
Yeah, man. So as we close off, we want to really remind everybody that the next show is 1 week from today, same time, 1 week from today, and it's all about testimonies. So for those of you who want to put on your makeup and your whatever one, we're gonna actually open up the floor so that you all could be seen inside the actual show when we go live, and when we put it on YouTube. We'll invite you to put on your camera and your microphone. So this show is going to be open for everybody to talk and to be seen. So with that being said, we look forward to seeing you all in 1 week from today. Bevon, real grateful to have you here today. Thank you for taking out your time on 4th of July to reach everybody that has been reached. And we know this will go even further on our YouTube channel. Feel free to share it with whoever you want. That goes for all of you all. The link will go out to you all. As we close off here tonight, God bless everybody. God bless Greenwood. God bless Positive Moments with Andrew and Don. God bless In Full Flight. God bless Republic Bank. All the best to everybody. Have a beautiful night. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks again, Bevon.
No problem.
Bye-bye.